Hello, happy Sunday, everyone, and welcome to another edition of 365 Inspirational Quotes with me, your life coach, Teena Jones. How is everyone doing on this wonderful Sunday afternoon? I hope you're well rested. For those of you who are new, welcome aboard. Thank you so very much for joining us. And of course, if you have been with me since day one, thank you so very much for taking this journey with me. We're taking this journey together. We're going to kick off 2017 on the right foot by being positive, instilling positive things into our minds so that we can have positive results in our life. If you're ready to take down notes, go ahead and get your pen and notebooks ready because I have a really good quote for you today. It's an unknown author, but the quote is, "Your life is God's great novel. Let Him write it." I'm going to repeat that. Your life is God's great novel. Let Him write it. We talk a lot, and we will talk a lot about visualization, affirmation, writing down the things you want in your life. But this quote really helps us to think about thinking outside of the box. The reason why we set the tone for what we want is so that we can feel good. It's for us. It's not for the universe. But we have to allow room for the miracles. Okay? When you let God do the writing, you set the tone for what it is you want. You don't know how that thing is going to unfold. You can't control every single step of how it's going to unfold. That's not your job. Your job is to allow. Your job is to feel good and be surprised by how the universe bring your good to you. I learned this many years ago. When I started my radio show, I had no radio experience at all. Here I am sitting at this long mahogany table full of Anglo-Saxon men who were more than half my age, and the table was long. It was about 15 seats at the table, and they all grilled me. Collectively, they had more than 100 years of radio experience, and here I am with zero. And so when they asked me to put a mock show on a CD of how I want my show to be, because they didn't know, this was new to talk radio, to have a format where you could do self-help. Okay. And so when they asked me to do that, they said, I want you to put a 3-hour show together, and I want to see if you can maintain the audience. Do you have good topics where you can provoke the listeners to pick up the phone and call? So, back then I was about, 31 to something like that. And I was a little irritated. I felt like I sold myself pretty good, and I just wanted the job. I knew there were many people from Chicago, New York, LA, because Dallas was such a big market. They were fighting for that position. They wanted that. And so I thought the interview lasted about 3 hours. And when they told me to do that, I should have looked at it as a positive thing, right? But I didn't. But I went home and I did exactly as I was told to do. And the name of the show that I did was called Shattered Dreams, How to Bounce Back from Shattered Dreams. And brought the tape back because that was the weekend. I came back that Monday, submitted the tape to him. And then 1 week later, I got a call and said, your show has been greenlit. You're on from 9 to midnight, Monday through Friday. Oh my God, mind blowing. Well, about a month later, the owner of the station saw me in the hallway, and he stopped me. And he said, Teena, what was your show about? That mock show you did? What was it about? He never did hear, just the program director and the office manager. So I told him, Shattered Dreams, and I gave examples of how people come back from different things, whether it's an illness, if you've been dealt a hand of being held terminally ill disease, how do you come back from that? Or divorce, how do you come back from that? Or some financial blow. And so he said, well, you want to know how you got this job? He said, well, the guy, I won't say his name, but his wife was dealing Well, I won't say that part. They were on their way to Houston, from Dallas to Houston to MD Anderson Hospital. And she had been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. So her husband, who hired me, he put the CD in. He said, let's listen to a young lady that's trying to get on the show, on the station. So as they were listening to it, tears streamed down her eyes. And she said, whoever that is, you need to hire her. And that's how I got the job. And so when I look back over that thing, it taught me a very valuable lesson. And that is, do not resist when things aren't going the way you think they should go. A lot of times the things you go through is not for you. It's for someone else. It's to bless someone else. And so when you think bigger than yourself, allow God to use you. Okay, you are a character in his play. And so it's nothing wrong with setting a tone of where you want help. I wanted the radio show. I've always wanted that. I wrote that thing down. But how I got it and the steps I needed to take was none of my business. The only thing I needed to do was rise to the occasion. And that's what you'll have to do. You never know how you're going to get from A to B to C to D. You don't know how the path is going to be. Most of the time it's not a straight path. There's always zigzags in the road. But that's where trust comes in. You have to trust God. You have to trust the universe that you have the best people on your side. And that's the entire universe, the angels, God himself, orchestrating to manifest what you desire. Okay, so I love this quote. It gives me goosebumps every time I read up on it, and I hope it does the same for you. But when you're on this path of manifesting, keep this in mind, that you can make the request, but it's not your job to dictate how you get there. All right, I hope this has blessed you today. And I've said this in the beginning. I want to make sure I say this now, that from day to day, every quote is not going to resonate with you. Not all 365, but someone in your life may need it. So write them down, because if you don't need it today, you may need it tomorrow. Or someone could call you and really, really just lay their heart out to you. Remember, we're characters in God's play. So he sent people to us, and you're that angel. You could be that angel for someone, and you can bless them with this commentary, with an affirmation, with the quotes. So think outside of you. This thing is bigger than you. It may be someone you need to share this with at work, only if they come to you. Remember, it's not something that you have to solicit. God send people to you. Sometimes they may call, sometimes they may send a text message, and you may be the only positive person they know. So, always think bigger than your situation and your circumstances, because this thing is so much bigger than you and I. All right. And so I hope this thing blessed you today. I really love today's quote. I'm not quite done. I'm going to give you the affirmation, because once again, I don't want to shortchange you on time. I got in trouble before with the 9-minute show or 9-minute inspirational quote. And so I wanted to make sure that when you one question that came up that I wanted to address real quick, so we do have a little time left, and that is visualization and visioning. And we're going to talk more about it as time progresses. But when you visualize, you're telling God what you request. But visioning, the difference is you'll say, universe or God, show me what you want for me, instead of you making the request. You're now allowing the universe, because if you know and you trust that God has your best interest at heart, then you can take that bold move. That's how I end up here in Houston. This was never on my, vision board or my visualization chart or affirmation, never in a million years. I'm from Dallas. I love Dallas. It's where I was born and raised, and I had no desire to come to Houston, but Houston chose me. And the day that I opened my mouth and I said, universe, what do you have for me? The day I did that, everything began to shift. Love was here, and God knew that, And so I'm going to talk more about that later on, but I'm so happy. That's when you can get bold. But I want you to get comfortable in your faith. You know, I've been visualizing and setting affirmation goals, and I've manifested many wonderful things in my life ever since 1994. I've been on this law of attraction journey, you see. And so I've attracted many things, and now I got to a point to where I said, what do you want from me? And God just, you know, opened up the gateway for me. So we're going to talk more about visualization versus visioning in shows to come. But today's quote, I'm going to say it one more time, and then we're going to wrap this thing up. Your life is God's great novel. Let him write it. All right. The affirmation is, I am now open to receiving and giving love freely. You got to open yourself up and allow the universe to show you what it has in store for you. Thank you so much. That is our time today. I will see you tomorrow for day number 9. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I love you all. Bye-bye.